2024. Happy Star Trek Tuesday, everybody. It is the day and time that you always look forward to. It's time for the main viewer. There's so much to talk about. Star Trek Strange New Worlds is in production. What does that mean? Well, that means that they are getting ready and also filming, putting things together, lighting stuff, filming things, bringing actors in through protocol, making sure that the SAG votes go through first, though, I bet. We also have Lower Decks in the news. We've got Discovery in the news. We have all the memes you could ever want. There's so much to discuss. We're going to talk all about 2024 and November and December of this month, of this year, right now. But before we do that, everybody, we got Tony Pascale of Trekmovie joining us, everybody. Can you believe it?
Hello. Thank you for having me for my first time. Although I feel like I've been part of the show because you do like to read our articles, which are not just written by me, but by the whole team. But I feel like
part of every show, actually.
Yeah, you are. Yes.
Literally part of every show.
Trekmovie has such great content. It's hard
to share. We've given you guys shout outs on Lori Ulster and I host the All Access Star Trek podcast. And so it goes both ways. We were just talking about you guys last week, and we'll do it again this week because we're running our Walter interview, which is part of this.
Oh, awesome.
Seventh. So we'll discuss all of that good stuff. Everybody, did you know that Trekmovie has 2 podcasts? They're called The Shuttle Pod, if I remember correctly, as well as Star Trek All Access. So definitely keep an eye out for those, everybody. Those are great. That's where we always find ourselves tuning into. But for right now, tune into this. Melissa Longo is also here.
Hello there. Hey. Guess what? I was in a Majors kind of mood, so Decor Province Majors. Where can we get this shirt, Ryan?
Well, everybody, you could get that short shirt or one in a different size or style and even different color scheme at the link in the description box below, the Star Trek and Chill online store. You could get your very own, if that's your favorite baseball team, the Decor Province Majors, which a lot of people say it is, you can get your very own shirt. Or maybe some people say that the Bozeman Phoenixes is their favorite baseball team. What do you say, Jenny?
Right? I mean, that's my favorite baseball team.
Well, the Majors are going to win it, though.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
No one told me about baseball, fake baseball t-shirts.
Show them the back, Jenny.
Oh, I will. Oh, look.
Look at that.
Oh, look. And see, it's got its own blue screen. It's very, very cool.
Yeah.
You're bleeding through.
I know.
Yeah. I do need one of those. I do.
It's fabulous. Yeah, this is my favorite
because it's awesome.
So everybody, you could get either of those shirts, different sizes, styles, and colors at the link in the description box below. That's Star Trek and Chill Shopify. I don't remember where you can get this awesome Triclops shirt.
It's amazing.
It's all mine, and I'm the only one that gets it.
It's so random. I love it.
It's awesome.
That's so good.
My shirt's blue. I'm wearing a blue shirt.
Yeah.
That count?
And a Star Trek hat.
But you have a great hat on.
Oh, that's true. But I don't think you could buy this hat.
That makes it even more important and more special.
This is one of the perks of running a website. They send you these boxes. Well, you get the boxes, Ryan, don't you?
Sometimes when they remember who I am and they have leftovers.
Did you get the Borg cube a few weeks ago?
No.
It was huge.
I still haven't recovered.
It was mostly empty. They just thought it would be cool if they sent you this ridiculously large cube, and but inside of it was just the Picard DVD. There's some cool stuff, but it was like 90% packing material.
It would be really cool if like a little ball came out of it, like in First Contact.
That would be awesome.
And then the stuff was in that ball that was evacuating the cube.
Yeah, and then the rest of the cube exploded.
We'll workshop that.
At least confetti. That would be fun.
Yes.
All right.
Neon green
everybody,
confetti.
Let's get into the news here. Let's say hi to John Davis, Greg Kenzo, Glenn Iverson, Chuck A., the Matt Boardman, Fran Iverson. Hello, May Barella. We see all of you. Rico E. Anderson never met a camera he did not like. He says, Happy Trek Tuesday post-strike. This guy was out there pounding the pavement for all of us. Hello to Kathy D, Dave Gregory, all of you. Thanks for hanging with us. Let's get into the news. First things first, as advertised, Strange New Worlds is in the news because is it actually finally happening? It seems like it is. So we're getting this article from a website called Trekmovie.com. Hope I pronounced that correctly.
I think we've heard of it.
An obscure website. Very fringe, very radical ideas.
No stone left unturned. We really dig into the crevices for these articles. It's entitled Star Trek Strange New Worlds Team Gearing Up to Start Production on Season 3.
And I have to say that I did Una's hairstyle on purpose. Just kidding.
Let's see.
You nailed it.
Oh yeah, it looks great.
Nailed it.
Wait.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. So it reads, and this by Anthony Pascale, everybody, you may know him. He's hanging out with us right now. He says, as we reported last week, the end of the SAG-AFTRA strike means that all the various Star Trek projects can now move forward. The end of the actors' strike now allows for casting, auditions, promotion, and most importantly, actual production. Man, we should have like production value where my voice echoes when we say actual production.
We're going to work on that.
We'll get right on that. And there are already indications that Star Trek Strange New Worlds is getting set to move forward on the 3rd season of the series, set on Captain Pike's Enterprise. Before we get too much into this, check this out. Producing director, Chris Fisher, that's our pal. Look at this.
Yes, I love that picture. It's so awesome. Cute.
He says, 2023 has been a year, and in 3 days, I'm heading back to Toronto for work. Of the many gifts I have received over this year, not the least of which the generosity of my family, the love of my parents, support from old friends. By far, the most incredible gift I've received has been the love for my daughter, Poppy. I've realized that my true calling is being a stay-at-home dad. It is the greatest joy. For now, I go back to work and pursue my other great love and joy, filmmaking. But my heart and soul is with this little one now and forever. That's freaking adorable and awesome. And I'm so glad you included that, Anthony. So what are we hearing? Why do we believe that production is starting right now as we speak?
Well, sorry to be that guy, but actually it's not. Pre-production has started. But pre-production was already underway in May. They were like just days away from filming. Chris Fisher was going to direct the first episode. And in theory they could have done it because there was still a couple months when the actors weren't on strike. And they had a script. They didn't have all the scripts for all 10 episodes. Some shows kept on shooting through May and into June. Like I think like one of the Game of Thrones shows or something. There were a few things that kept on going, but since they hadn't started, they said let's not start because we don't know how long it's going to go on, and that was a smart move because it went on for a lot longer than anyone thought. So they're back to pre-production. They're going to start shooting in the second week of December, which means they'll probably get one episode done this year out of 10. But that's pretty good. A lot of, some other shows, scripted shows, like sitcoms are starting up again this week, but they're easy. But scripted drama, it's hard to get that machine going again because there's so many moving parts to it. So takes about a couple weeks to shoot an episode. So I
believe it's December 11th, right? Is the day they're actually going to be rolling cameras.
Yeah, so. I mean, you can't. These things show up at like the DGA site. These aren't set in stone. Like the Section 31 show showed up there to shoot in November. But that didn't happen, obviously, yet. So sometimes those are aspirational, and they do move around. But from what I understand, from sources say, yeah, they'll do shooting this year for sure. They'll get one done this year, and then they'll do the rest after the what do you call it, the New Year's break.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good. I wasn't sure they'd go that fast. I thought they might have waited till January. Other shows are waiting till January, February. So
yeah, it's gonna be really tight because, as you mentioned, they still have to finish pre-production. Nobody can just jump into rolling camera. But then we have Thanksgiving. We've got all the holidays. So a lot of them are probably just gonna say, okay, well, this year's just a wash. I do want to point out that our friend Glenn Iverson in the live chat also mentions one of the holdups of production. He says Pike's hair has got to get back into character. So that could take a while, right? They have to just to regrow, and mousse and sculpt.
Yeah.
There's a whole process for that. That's for sure.
So what else do we have besides? Okay, so Strange New Worlds are going to get 1 week in. Maybe they'll figure out a way to do like a week and a half of shooting. So that's maybe
they'll do a couple weeks. I think they'll finish an episode this year.
You think they'll be able to shoot in between Christmas and New Year?
No. I think they'll get. Well, I mean, they'll get close to Christmas Day. I think they'll be able to squeeze it in. So
that'd be awesome.
Like a good 10 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, usually it takes them a couple weeks to shoot something. So, but I think they'll get one done. But I mean, this is getting way into the weeds. The important thing is they're starting.
Yeah.
And because Chris Fisher, him and his guys, all during the strike, they kept on talking to what if the strike ended today? How long would it take us? So they kind of constantly, they had this rolling plan to get going, which is why as soon as the strike was over, they were kind of ready to pounce. The big question is, is the same guest, because they had guest stars lined up. That's the complication because people's schedules change. But obviously the cast is ready to go. Jess Bush she's posting on Instagram the car spot, so she's I don't know if she's already in Toronto, but they're on their way. So
all right. So what else do we know? I mean, we know Strange New Worlds was the one that seemed like it was just ready and raring to go. But then we also have Discovery, which, as far as I know, is completed or as near completion as possible. Do we know anything about release order? Like when Discovery's being released, do we have any hints or ideas? Because I haven't heard anything. All we know publicly is beginning of the year, early 2024. And I don't know if that's
I wouldn't even say beginning. I would say early. They it's done, including the reshoots. So they're just. I think that one of the big things for them is they didn't want to set a date until after the strikes because they want the actors involved in the promotion.
Yeah.
And they couldn't arrange any of that until after the actor strike was over. I mean, what's funny this week, actors are suddenly talking about whatever show they're on. The Star Trek actors are talking about Star Trek again. It was hilarious. Bob Picardo posted something saying, I'm in Prodigy. No duh. We've known that. No offense. That's great. But it's that shows you how
there was an official trailer released with him in it.
Yeah.
in August. Right. So but it shows you they've been sitting on this. They've been so excited to talk about these shows. And I know they don't, even though it's the final season, they don't want Discovery to appear like it's being canceled. They want to make a big deal out of the final season. My bet is February or March. But we don't know. I mean, they what's funny is they released was it so when was the last episode of Lower Decks? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yes.
November 2nd only, I think. Yeah. So less than 2 weeks ago.
So they do the Will Wheaton thing after that, the Ready Room, right? And then at the end of that, they showed a sneak peek of Discovery season 5, And some people like posted online like, "Oh my god, sneak peek Discovery Series." It was literally the trailer they released at New York Comic Con 2022. It was over a year old, so with no changes at all because because the strike was still on and they just didn't know, what to do yet. But I think before the end of the year we'll have a date for season 5.
Okay.
I'm predicting
I hope so.
third Thursday of February.
Nice.
Wow. That's pretty good. So what would be the reason for them not releasing it in January? Are they kind of stretching things out so that there isn't a huge chasm in between Discovery and whatever comes out next?
Well, wouldn't you? I mean,
I would. That's why I'm thinking.
They don't have a lot of Star Trek content for next year. Because remember, even though Prodigy season 2 is going to come out next year, Paramount Plus doesn't count that because it's obviously not on Paramount Plus. So what they have for sure is Discovery and probably almost certainly Lower Decks later in the year.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a possibility they'll be able to get Strange New Worlds started late next year. That would be a faster turnaround time than previous seasons. But I mean, they've lost 6 months of production, not just on Star Trek, but on all the Taylor Sheridan shows and all their scripted content. So I think they're going to want to spread things. What I'm worried about is they're going to start arbitrarily splitting seasons up in half. They'll do 5 episodes here, 5 episodes there. Now, for Strange New Worlds, that would make sense because they would need to catch up on post-production.
Right.
Which they've done before on some of their shows. But they might do it for Discovery just for, just because.
Just to spread it out, yeah.
Just to spread it out. Now, I didn't hear this. And I hope there isn't a Paramount Plus executive watching go, hey, that's a good idea. But
they're like,
not a good idea.
Jerry, can we do that? I don't know, sir. Can you check on that? I think we
Yeah.
But
I
think
and 2. What do you
No.
Jeez.
So what I'm worried about is, as you mentioned, Anthony, that this is not related to what's happening with Prodigy, because Netflix is going to do their own thing. Netflix is going to Netflix, Prodigy is going to Prodigy, and Paramount's going to do their own thing. What I'm worried about is that those 2 shows go concurrently, Discovery and Prodigy.
Yeah, I mean, that's possible, although it's almost certain that Netflix will release Prodigy in chunks because that's what they do. They don't do weekly. So they're almost certainly going to release, my bet is they'll release the first 10 as a chunk, and I'm betting sometime in the spring. But let's hope, I mean, the CBS, because although it's Netflix and it's Paramount Plus, it's also CBS Studios who produce all the shows. Yep. And they are aware, and they'll let Netflix know, here's when we're going to do Discovery. FYI. So maybe release Prodigy some other time than that. And here's when we're going to do Lower Decks. And here's like 5 months in between. Hint, hint. That's a good time for you to do.
Yeah.
You guys can do whatever you want. May to September. Go nuts.
Let's hope that. But I mean, some people think it's a different. We're watching all these shows because we're nerds and Trek fans, but really, that's a small group. It's a Prodigy is an animated kids show. Discovery is a live action show aimed at young adults. Strange New Worlds is aimed more at traditional fans. So these are somewhat different audiences. Not everyone is watching all these shows and is worried about them overlapping.
So everybody in the live chat, let us know, would you rather Netflix and Paramount just release everything as soon as possible? Meaning Prodigy may be in February at the same time as Discovery, and then you could just sit at home all day and watch Star Trek. Or would you rather they collaborate, spread it out, just really go easy on us? And would you rather have it more spread out? But Tony, you mentioned 10 and 10. We've thought that might be what they might do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Netflix has also done things in spurts where they release like 2 or 3 episodes, and
Have
then
they?
few days later,
Strange New Worlds.
No,
They
well,
did
no,
that
I
with-
mean,
I'm not.
no, what I
Stranger
mean,
Things.
Stranger Things.
okay,
Mhm.
yes, Stranger
what
Things,
they
sure.
did it.
Okay, well, Stranger Things is kind of on its own universe, but like 99% of the stuff on
Yeah.
but like, for The Witcher they did it, but they did it in fair. I thought like The Witcher they split that into 2. They do I think splitting things into 2, and bear in mind the way the Prodigy team think of this show, they think of it in 10 episodes. I mean, they're really 2 seasons of 10 episodes, but they call it one season, and I've argued with Aaron Watke about like how dumb that is, and he tries to explain it. And but I think of it as 2 seasons anyway. All the other shows are 10 seasons. There's a 10 episode arc, and if you think about the first 10 episodes of Prodigy and the second 10, think of how different they are. Those are much more like seasons than 2 half seasons, I think. So I'm expecting 10 episode chunks, not 5 episode chunks for Prodigy season 2. My only question is, do they release both chunks in 2024?
Oh, wow, that would be nuts if they make us wait. We'd be pissed.
Pissed.
Well,
that is not.
There'd be some explaining to do.
Yeah.
I would expect them to do both chunks within months of each other, and not spread them out that far.
Yeah.
And but so I think like early spring, late spring, something like that.
Do you think there's
just
any chance at
guessing.
all of them releasing them weekly?
No.
Blast.
They don't like doing that. They've got way too much. I wish they would. Lori and I have talked about this because, and you're thinking of it like as a podcast and reviewer, it's annoying to have to deal with 10 episodes at once. Like when for Lower Decks, they gave us 8 out of 10 episodes on one day,
right.
But Lori and I made the decision of saying, we're not going to skip ahead. And we had another guy who works on the site watch all 8 of them. And he wrote the kind of spoiler-free season review, and we went along with everyone else just like a couple days ahead so we could do the podcast. But yeah, it'll be like, for Prodigy, I'm not sure how we're gonna review it because there'll be 10 episodes on Netflix one day, and what are you guys gonna do? How are you gonna cover that?
Well, that's everybody at home, myself and Sirach Lofton, and occasionally our good friend Melissa Longo, we cover these weekly episodes. So the problem is, if they release 10 episodes, we can't release 10 reviews in one day.
Of course not.
I guess we could, but it's not really feasible. And so even if we released one every day, by the time we released, the third or fourth one, half the audience would already be done with all of the episodes. If you can stream, if they're 30-minute episodes and they drop 10, not everybody's going to wait and watch one a week or even one a day. They're just going to watch the season, how people do that, and watch 3 or 4 or 5 at a time.
Well, and then there's those who are going to savor each one. And what do you do about spoilers? It's just not everybody will watch the show at the same time, and which can be problematic when reviewing a show.
Very. It just it throws a wrench in our spokes completely.
At the beginning of the streaming wars, Netflix set up the model of the bingeable show, and most followed suit. But then slowly but surely, people started switching to the weekly model. But Netflix is holding on to the binge model, and I don't foresee them doing anything different for Prodigy.
Hey, everybody. Dr. Mohammed Noor is here. Can you believe it?
Hey, Mohammed.
Good to see everybody. Welcome aboard, Anthony.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel very welcomed.
You are.
Yes.
Mohammed, we have a question for you.
I heard that you guys are going to release like 10 reviews of Prodigy all in the first day, right?
Pretty cool, huh?
Yep.
Sorry, go ahead.
If Prodigy were to have the first 10 episodes of season 2 released at the same time, would you just watch all 10 or would you watch one a week?
Maybe in between. I mean, all 10 at once is a lot, even though I love the show. All 10 at once would be a lot. I'd probably watch like 1 to 2 a day. So I'd be done in like a week. I'd finish up.
Well, what we're thinking of doing is releasing reviews of what we consider mini arcs. And I'm going to talk to Aaron about this ahead of time to make sure we get them right. Because they do structure within the 10 episodes. Some things will be 2-parters, some might be 3-parters. So it's, so you could like maybe binge those. But some of these shows, like I think Discovery should be released all at once. It works better as a binge than a weekly show.
That makes
but
sense.
Strange New Worlds is a terrible binge show because of the mood shift in every episode. Like you go from the crossover to the war episode to a musical. If you binged that, you'd think like, what is going on this ship? Right. This is crazy. It doesn't make any sense. So you need time between episodes. So it kind of depends on the show, I guess.
Fair point.
And everybody, let's take a moment to remind everybody at home to please like this video. Even if you don't like it, we appreciate it. And please subscribe to this channel if you're listening in wherever podcasts are found. Give us a 5-star rating and leave us a nice review. And remember, if you're watching, we got it on audio podcast. Go find us. And if you're listening, check us out on YouTube, because then you could watch us laughing rather than having to picture what it looks like when we laugh in your mind.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to have to do that.
So it does look great.
Okay, we've got another article here. And this is from Trekmovie.com
Before we get to that, we haven't talked about, there is another thing that's happening, which is the Section 31 movie. But we still don't know when. So Starfleet Academy is definitely not showing up until 2025. I mean, the strike held them back a bit, but they were nowhere near production. So it kind of didn't matter in a lot of ways. It really had a bigger impact on the writer's room, which includes Tawny Newsome, of course. But the weird thing is the Section 31 movie was going to shoot this month. So we're still trying to figure out when they're going to go ahead. But I would not be surprised if they end up shooting at the same time as the Strange New Worlds.
You think that soon? Wow.
Well, I'm not saying they're going to start shooting in December, but sometime in early 2024. And Chris Fisher, pointed out to me when we interviewed him that they've Discovery and Strange New Worlds have overlap productions before. And they both shoot in Toronto. If you watch season 2 carefully, every once in a while you'll see a Discovery set. They sometimes it's more obvious than other times, but they use the Discovery sets, they do some redressing, and they share the AR wall.
Right. Yeah.
And so they have to coordinate all the time. So but he says he thinks they could both shoot at the same time and not
that's crazy.
Run into too many things. I think the Section 31 movie is going to use some Strange New World sets too.
Definitely
cool.
Is it going to be like a 2-hour thing, or is it basically going to be like 70 or 80 minutes, you think?
Oh God, I don't have that granular detail. I do know that the movie is what was going to be the pilot episode, but they've expanded it. So there, if you guys remember years ago in the way past when it was called CBS All Access, they announced, I think before the second season of Discovery, I'm starting to, that Michelle Yeoh was signed up for a new TV show called Section 31. And they had a writer's room. Bowie and Erica were showrunners.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So Craig Sweeney, who wrote the movie, was in that writer's room, and he with them wrote the pilot, and they went through all sorts of iterations, and eventually it became a movie, and that's what that movie is now.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
So since this is the pilot, kind of that which is morphed into a movie, does that mean there's any possibility of it still becoming a series, or have they given up on the series because of scheduling, or what was the situation there?
I think the more likely scenario is for them to do another streaming movie with Michelle Yeoh in 2 years or something like that. They've definitely wanted, well, there's differing, the executives at Paramount Plus have changed around. At one point they were like, yeah, we want to do a series of these streaming movies, but there's some recently an executive said they don't want to do things, like mini series like that. They want to do ongoing series more. But I'm not sure that applies to these Star Trek things. So
could it be possible that they do the movie as a launching pad for another series, but maybe that doesn't necessarily include Michelle Yeoh? Like she's sending it off, or
that's an interesting idea.
Torch.
Yeah,
I
mean, Michelle Yeoh's in a Disney Plus series. She's not against doing a series.
Just depends on her.
But maybe she is now that she's Academy Award winner, Michelle Yeoh.
Right.
But even after that, she's very into the Star Trek thing. According to Alex, she's like, it hasn't gone to her head. I don't know. I think if they were to move forward on a series, they would do the legacy show before they would do but there's no indication they're going to do that either. So I don't know what the next series is, if anything, because it would kind of, because of belt tightening, the next series would be something that exists after Strange New Worlds ends. And when is Strange New Worlds going to end?
It's going 10 seasons.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
Maybe 7.
Well, eventually they're going to, unless they actually do that. But they are going to run into, if they continue kind of in a normal way, like advancing about a year at a time, they're going to run into, Kirk taking over, Pike getting into the chair, the whole 9 yards. Which would be roughly 7 seasons.
Yeah, they could always multiverse it and get out of that.
That is true.
Why not? Everyone else is doing the multiverse.
Spend some time in the mirror universe.
I get so confused when people start talking about different universes and different like timelines. I'm like, all I can focus on is eras. Okay, like a group of years. I can get the TNG era, and the TOS era. Once people start talking about the Kelvin universe, I'm like, oh man, it's work.
But how is that? Well, the mirror universe is no different really than the Kelvin universe. It's just a parallel universe. Yesterday's
it's just a parallel universe, Ryan.
The simplicity of it is what makes it easy. It's called the mirror universe. There aren't 3 reflections in a mirror. There's the thing and the other thing. But then when they add a third one, we start going, well, wait, this doesn't work with my brain anymore. There aren't 3 reflections or 2 reflections.
I'm
like
fine.
Prism.
What do you?
I love that.
The other thing that is apparently gearing up again is, apparently, is the Paramount Pictures, which still exists as a company, believe it or not. They're actually doing pretty well, but they haven't made a Star Trek movie in almost a decade.
No, they haven't.
We keep hearing about it.
Since the last Star Trek movie, they've made like 3 Transformers movies, 3 Sonic the Hedgehog movies, maybe a couple of Mission Impossible movies. They're rolling through with their franchises, but there's like this one quintessential Paramount franchise that just keeps sitting there that they keep trying and they can't. But apparently they're, now that the strikes are over, they're going to give it another shot, and maybe we will see that. But like, so my question for the group is, and maybe for the chat is, what do you want? You know, do you want another Kelvin movie, another Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, yada yada, or a something new, something new cast, new ship, new everything?
Great question.
I think those are the only two options. I really don't see them. You know, I know Patrick Stewart says he wants to do another feature film. If those guys do another thing, it would be on TV. It would be Paramount Plus. I don't see a feature film with the TNG cast, at least not just them.
Yeah, and if there's something like that, I want to see a Deep Space Nine movie.
But I don't. I mean, you're just.
I know, but still, I mean,
movies need to work for young people. They need to work, you know, in China. You know, it just we're not going to see the 1990s stars lead a you know, $150 million feature film. Paramount Pictures. That's just not going to happen. You know, I may sound like a jerk saying that, but Paramount made that decision in 2002 after Star Trek Nemesis, and they haven't changed their mind in 21 years. And there's, you know, so.
Well, you know, to answer your question, if you had asked me a few years ago, do you want to see another Kelvin movie? I'd be like, nah, I'm good. But now I'm like, I kind of would like to see them. I want to see this start, whether it's Quentin Tarantino or it's, I don't know. There's so many things that keep so many different iterations. I would like to see that crew one more time, because going back and watching the 2009 movie with 2023 glasses, you go, you know what? This is actually a pretty Star Trek movie. This is when it first came out, it felt like different Star Trek. But now in hindsight, we're like, at least for me, I was like, this is actually very Star Trek. This is pretty good. So I don't know. I'd be happy with it.
Yeah, seeing Zachary Quinto in Vegas too, it was like the nostalgia factor. It was it was almost kind of shocking to be like, oh, there he is. Like we sort of didn't realize that we missed him because he was great. Like it's yeah, it's pretty cool actually.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of like Keith Urban as Bones.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm sorry. Is there like a country music crossover?
Oh my God, Carl.
I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Is he doing the soundtrack?
And we have Faith Hill as Scotty.
Oops.
John Denver as the Badmiral.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
Nicole Kidman is Jillian Taylor.
I know.
What do you think, Mohammed? Would you want to see a new Star Trek movie, a new iteration, or would you want to see the Kelvin group back together again?
Well, so honestly, I'd be happy with either one. But if I got to pick, I don't think I'd pick the Kelvin movie. The only reason I wouldn't pick it is just the length of time you get to enjoy it. Because like you go see the movie and then it's like, all right, starting the next drought. Like 2 hours later, the drought begins again until like the next thing, right? Whereas if it's a series, you like get to enjoy it for at least a few weeks there, like or a couple of months.
Oh yeah,
I like that aspect to it.
If I had to choose between a movie and a series all the way for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Star Trek is always best on TV, but the feature films have a place. It's just like with Marvel and Star Wars. Although they've both been struggling as well. I mean, the Star Wars franchise, ever since the episode 9, they've had the similar thing with Star Trek where they've tried to put they keep on throwing directors and writers at it, and they recently announced a series of new movies. We'll see if any of those happen, but it's really it's kind of hard. Whereas there's been a ton of Star Wars TV shows in the last few years, obviously.
Right.
And it's hard to get a feature film because the feature film, you have to bring in people beyond your core fandom. And you know, some people don't like that, but I kind of do, because it's some, you know, you get to the core of what makes something work if you do it right. So
that's why they named their movie Beyond. They're like, maybe that'll do it.
I like their burgers.
Yeah, they're delicious.
Yeah.
Well, look, Tony, we only have you for another minute or two left here.
No,
We really-
I'm gonna go out at 6, so
Okay,
17
great.
more minutes.
Excellent. I did want to point out though, since you brought up Star Wars, I didn't, but I would like to say that I actually liked the two offshoot movies that weren't one of the episodes. What was it? Solo and
Rogue
Rouge
One.
Rogue One.
Everybody kept spelling it
Yeah.
Rouge One on Facebook. I'm like, what's going on, you guys? Why is everybody calling it Rouge One? But I thought both of those were good. I haven't really seen many of the series because that's so time consuming.
Well, if you liked
first
Rogue One, then I'm suddenly blank. You have to see Andor. It's the best
Oh yeah.
Star Wars, if not one of the best sci-fi TV shows. Tony Gilmore did it. It's different. It's kind of a spy genre thing, but it's the best.
Watched the first episode. It was okay.
I-
Muhammad
it-
knows. He saw it.
You should watch the whole thing. You really need to. That's another thing that's good on a binge. I recommend that the early seasons of The Mandalorian and Andor are top notch sci-fi. I'm as big of a Star Wars fan as I am a Star Trek fan. I could talk about Star Wars as much as Star Trek. I love Star Wars.
So everybody in the live chat right now, do you prefer Marvel, DC, or Star Wars? There's no wrong answers. Well, DC is definitely a wrong answer.
Oh,
the other two.
Hey,
Well, I mean, are you talking about?
Let's get serious.
Do you mean?
well, as far as movies go, yeah.
Like if you just had to pick one of the three.
Yeah,
because for TV shows, Peacemaker is just fantastic, and that's a DC show. And the Harley Quinn TV show, the animated Harley Quinn, is it's their version of Lower Decks, except it's kind of R-rated and raunchy, and it's fantastic. So they're doing some really good stuff on the TV side.
Yeah, and I kind of love, well, Christopher Reeve's Superman.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Best.
Several of the Batmans were really good, I thought.
Yes, this is true. Some of the Batmans were good.
To take those, I feel like even though for me, Star Wars, you're still looking at that core, like those core movies. I just can't give up Star Wars for Marvel or DC. Well, definitely not DC, but yeah.
I think it'd be pretty close, Star Wars and Marvel for me. I think I've always liked those two franchises. DC was always kind of like not really my thing as much. Although Super Friends when you're a kid, that's really cool. That's really cool. But then, Marvel had X-Men and stuff.
Yeah, I did love X-Men. True.
Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, looks like the live chat, a lot of people, nobody's saying DC, just FYI.
Kathy D says,
yep.
Oh man, did I?
And how could you not love Batman? Batman's the best.
I'm actually not a Batman fan.
Complicated. Because Batman's not really Batman. It's about Bruce Wayne. Is one of the most interesting characters in all of genre. I think.
No, Kathy D says Star Wars. I don't see where she says
Kathy D says I prefer DC and
Marvel.
Sorry,
I
misread that at first too.
I misread that. Yeah. Oops.
Oh, I see what you're pointing at here. Okay. Yeah, I was never a big Batman guy for some reason. It just never worked for me. And I know that's sacrilege, but well,
if you like the original, if you like the
Spider-Man.
If you like the 60s Batman.
Spider-Man either.
60s Batman?
Oh my god.
Like so many of the guest stars on Star Trek and Batman, or the 60s Batman, the campy Batman. There's there's a ton of crossovers.
That's true.
It's fun to look into that. We have gone way off. I'm trying to bring us back to Star Trek.
Yeah, let's do that because this is fun for us, but I'm worried that let's check our numbers right now. Yeah, our numbers aren't going down too bad right now. So that's not too bad.
Let's start talking about Stargate or Farscape.
Yes.
Oh, then I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna tune out.
I've given Farscape, I think, a third go to get through the show?
It's hard. It's hard to go through it because there's some just really silly. Okay, let's stop because we're gonna lose everyone if we keep talking about this.
Plus, everybody knows Battlestar Galactica is better than
absolutely
Stargate.
Absolutely.
What about
I'm on
Babylon
season 3
5
right now.
though? Anyway,
well, if you want a new show, speaking of Battlestar Galactica,
For All Mankind, am I right?
For All Mankind, absolutely. Ron Moore, bringing it back to Star Trek, and a few other people who work on there.
Yeah,
are Star Trek veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, but some of the writers, you know, so it's the best sci-fi on TV for sure.
That's what I keep hearing. I used to hear that about The Expanse a few years ago, and now I hear it about
that was great.
For All Mankind.
So good.
Yeah.
Ron Moore is imagining what if after the final, you know, in the 60s, I mean, not explicitly, but kind of. I did an interview with him where he's showing an alternate 60s to today as if it's leading to Star Trek. You know, so
that's awesome.
He's caught up to the early 2000s in season 4. Yeah. But if you could imagine,
so far.
Yeah. So they jump decade by decade. But I think eventually they're going to end up on a starship or at least
that would be awesome.
Meeting
sketching
Captain
one
Archer.
out.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Meeting Captain Archer.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Well, okay, now we'll definitely talk about Star Trek. God, this is the hardest it's ever been to get 5 Star Trek nerds to talk about Star Trek. Usually you can't get us to stop.
All related.
It's been a long road.
All right.
From there to here.
Yes.
Oh, God.
So everybody check this out. We've got this article from Trekmovie.com.
Ooh.
This is an interesting one. This one was also written by Anthony Pascale.
No, it wasn't. That one was.
Yeah, that's one.
I thought you were going to do the Enterprise one. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up next. So this is a quickie here. We've got James McKinnon on updating TNG characters in classic alien makeup for Star Trek Picard. Yeah, because the Ferengi looked a little bit different than what we recall. Can you give us a little sneak peek into this so people go check out the article?
What was fun is right before the season started, I talked to him about the season, and he said, well, I get to do 3 because, you know, McKinnon worked under Westmore in the 90s on DS. He got nominated for an Emmy for like the 3rd season of DS9, you know, and he worked on First Contact. So he's one of the few people working on modern Star Trek who's been around since the beginning, or not the beginning, but, you know, since that era. And I asked him, you know, what tell me about season 3. And he said he gets 3 bucket list aliens that he gets to kind of redo things that he's done in the past. But he didn't tell me what. And then, so this interview after the season he's like, it was getting to do a Ferengi again, getting to do a new version of a Borg Queen, because he worked on the Borg Queen for First Contact, and getting to do Michael Dorn again as Worf, except a whole new version of Worf. And he's like, that was kind of it for him. He, in a way, he kind of said, I'm kind of done now. He said, he wants to work on the Star Trek 4 movie, which he actually was hired and then fired because they shut down. But that's not his fault. They just shut down because they couldn't agree on a script. But he said that's going to be his last Star Trek thing, probably, if that ever happens. And then he's retiring.
Whoa.
Wow.
So, but yeah, because the thing about the Ferengi is they were on DS9. I mean, I love DS9. I love the Ferengi, but they were kind of funny, right? And so how do you do a mob boss Ferengi? You know, I thought that was a real interesting thing they did. So he talked about that, you know, and so I don't know if you want me to say what he said. People could just listen to the interview on the All Access Star Trek podcast.
Exactly. That's just a teaser. Everybody go to trekmovie.com and check that out. You'll find it very quickly and easily. And we've got another item here. This is something people have been discussing for about a week. And Anthony was alluding to it just a moment ago. It's another article by Trekmovie.com. Here's the one that he was talking about. Rod Roddenberry in talks to recover what may be the lost
Important
original
words.
Enterprise.
Important.
The lost original Enterprise model
Maybe.
from Star Trek. I mean, do we really think it's not? It might not be.
Well, we just don't know. I mean, so when this thing showed up a couple weeks ago on eBay, I was a little skeptical. A lot of fans are like, "Why aren't you covering this?" And I'm like, I need to get to the bottom of this. I'm certainly not going to write an article saying this lost thing. This thing's probably worth $1 million if it's real.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
totally.
And an X-wing from, or just 2 weeks ago, one of the shuttle for the Galileo, which is important from the original series, sold for $250,000, and that was smaller than this thing. So the big one's in the Smithsonian. It's priceless. So anyway, this thing showed up on eBay. Some fans started freaking out because it used to be on Roddenberry's desk. They lent it out. He never got it back. He was really pissed he never got it back. And people are kind of wondering who this guy is who showed up on eBay and where he got it. So, we've been trying to get to the bottom. We don't have all the answers, but Rod Roddenberry, son of Gene, he saw this and he wants to get it. I mean, technically it's stolen property, so I don't know but it's been a long time, so it doesn't count anymore. But he wants to get it back into the family, get it into a museum, scan it for his Roddenberry archive. But the first step, I think, is authenticating it. A lot of people, from the pictures in the eBay listing, it seems authentic, but we don't know yet. But he gave us a lengthy statement saying if it works out, then he wants to secure it and share it with the fans. And I think that's great. If it's real, and it's a big kind of, it's like a true crime story, but we don't know, we don't have all the facts yet.
How does a conversation like that go? Do they say, hey, this thing's worth X amount of dollars, but since it's stolen, can we just meet in the middle here?
Right.
Right.
Let's all be friends here and keep it cordial. I don't know. Do they get a discount for that?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't it was lent out to one effects shop and it was just never returned. So stolen is a strong word. I shouldn't have used that.
Yeah.
But it was never returned to the rightful owner. Let's put it that way. And the Roddenberry estate could certainly claim that they are the rightful owners of this. So who knows how it'll work out in the end. If it's real, that's the thing. I mean, whoever put it on eBay listed it for $1,000 as the minimum bid. So they didn't know what they had.
Right.
Well, they could have stumbled upon it through an inherited storage locker, for all we know, and not be a Star Trek fan and just say, okay, well, I found this. I inherited it from my Aunt Kathy, who just passed away. And
true.
And
Wily Kathy.
But whoever listed it,
cat lady,
whoever listed it knew enough to know who built it, which is a deep cut name that no one's ever heard of before. So
didn't it come with the card?
Maybe that's on there. I don't know.
Oh,
I thought it came with a authentication card of some sort, and they just listed that as well.
So this is kind of the first step in the mystery where we haven't gotten all the answers yet, but it's a fascinating story, and I'm looking forward to it getting resolved. And this is kind of the first step of our coverage. Other people have covered it as well, but I didn't want to just say, oh, this guy found it, because I have no idea who this guy is, and maybe it's legit. Maybe just found it in a storage locker. Who knows?
Oh, yeah. Linda Anderegg said, yeah, I thought the guy found it in a storage locker that he bought.
Yeah, that's what we.
These stories are.
Yeah,
but we can't report that. We need to. We need to. There's a difference between this is what I read somewhere in a forum and us reporting something. So we're trying to stick to the facts. and we haven't. There's a lot of things. We've also heard a different story. So,
Okay.
Gotcha.
we,
Gotcha.
so we can't confirm anything is the point.
Okay.
And but what we can confirm is Roddenberry wants it, and is working through an intermediary with the guy who listed it, and Danish House, who is one of our contributors, who does all our reviews. He's more on top of it, so he'd probably be able to articulate this better. He wrote that article. He did all the research.
Yeah, I feel like Rod is going like, all right, everybody just back off.
Yeah.
Back off.
Let me sort this
I
out.
get first dibs, obviously.
Obviously.
Everybody just
It's fair.
relax.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
between me and the dude selling it and nobody else.
Right. What you don't want is a super collector who's, Rod's rich, but he's not Bezos rich, so
Right.
and we know some of these people like Star Trek models. Some of them bought, what did the Enterprise refit go for? Like $500,000 15 years ago. It's so I think Bezos, I forget, but there are people out there willing to cut very large checks for things like this. I mean, like I said, someone bought the X-Wing model a couple weeks ago for like $3 million.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it would go for a lot, but when I saw that, because it's not that big.
No.
Yeah.
It comes with Dagobah moss.
Yeah.
Hey, I do want to tell you it is 6:00 though, so that joke was my signal to let you get to the other things you have to do this evening.
Thank you.
But
Anthony, it was my pleasure.
Great, and we really appreciate all the cool articles that you write for us. You keep this show going, and you keep fandom, in the know. You're letting everybody know what's going on. So we appreciate you and your team's work.
It takes a village. It's not just me. There's a whole bunch of people behind me. So, awesome. And next to me and above me and below me and everywhere around me. And I love them all.
It's like the Force.
Yeah, exactly. It binds us all. Anyway. So may the Force be with you.
Yes.
And I'll see you guys later.
Awesome.
Thanks, Anthony.
For coming.
Thank you.
All right. Boy, that was fun. That was like story time.
I know.
It was.
But now we got to get back to work. All right.
It'll be fun.
At least it's fun work.
Yeah, we've got a lot more to talk about still, everybody. So check this out. Let's pull this one up. This is from screenrant.com. Our good pal John Orchiola. This is an interesting
We like him.
Star Trek Discovery's newest actor hypes up season 5's debuting aliens and starship. Yeah. Wait a minute, are we getting a preview of the aliens that are coming out in season 5? Muhammad's leaning in intently, so he knows what he's going to talk about and what he can't. Star Trek Discovery season 5's newest cast member, Elias Tufexis, shares images of his alien character and starship in the final season. What do you guys think the alien's going to look like?
Oh no, let's see.
I saw the article, so I saw it there.
Oh man.
I want to see.
All right. Hey, where'd it go? There it is. Looks pretty interesting. Boy, you guys are missing out. This thing looks So here it is.
Oh, cool.
2 characters, Locke and Maul.
Oh wait, yeah. They're
First name Richard.
In the trailer.
Yep.
Oh, right.
For the
This
new
one's
season.
pretty interesting.
Right. That's
A
cool.
little bit like Kelpian, but not exactly.
Yeah, this one reminds me a little bit of, what was the lizard guy in Picard season 1, episode 7?
Oh,
he was like a big guy.
The guy with the smelly power.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Somebody with good Picard knowledge remind us of that one. Reminds me of
Similar,
that.
but that guy was a little more like,
reptilian.
yeah, he was like all nubbly.
Yeah.
Nubbly.
He wasn't
Nubbly.
smooth all over.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's a little bit of a smooth Tosk too. A little
Yes.
bit.
Yep.
Little bit. Just they could
We'll
be
wait to hear his lines
distant
before.
cousins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could be. He's a smooth Tosker.
Excellent.
Maybe they're a mix between the cousin of Tosks and Kelpians.
Ooh, nice. There's a combo
Yeah.
Yeah.
no one expected.
Yeah.
So here's another fun little article, another little nibble for everybody to enjoy.
Nibble nibbles.
Actually, Mohammed, would you like to read this one for us?
Be happy to. Jonathan Frakes directing Strange New Worlds crossover, BTS shared by Star Trek writer. So, do you want to go down to the text or?
Yeah, just a quick little background. So this is BTS from what was that, episode 7 or 8? Those old scientists, or these old scientists?
Ah,
7.
Yeah.
7.
good.
There they are.
Yeah.
It wasn't 8
Right.
the singing one, right?
Singing.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
So
Not
Space
the same.
Rhapsody.
Yeah.
And so this is from Bill Walkoff at
Yeah.
Flying Lobster on Twitter or X. Now that the strikes are over, I have much to say about Strange New Worlds Season 2. It was the experience of a lifetime. One of the too many to count highlights was working with Jonathan Frakes, Jack Quaid, Tawny Newsome, Kat Lynn, and Mike McMahon on Those Old Scientists. Enjoy some BTS picks. What does BTS stand for? Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
Behind
Ah,
the
got it.
scenes.
Okay.
And can we just point out again that Bill Walkoff is a real one at flying underscore lobster, because this is how much of a real one he is. He said that now that the strikes are over, his strike, the writer strike, has been over
Yeah.
for weeks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yet he waited in solidarity
Yep.
Yeah.
until after the actor strike was theoretically over. Now, SAG-AFTRA still has to have everybody voting on it.
Mhm.
We all get to, agree upon that first. So the strike's not going to be technically over for another, week or two, maybe
Although
3.
we are allowed to go back to work.
Right.
Right.
So anyway, I just wanted to point out that he's a real one, because even though
Mhm.
his strike was over, he still waited.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah,
that's
it
really
was
cool
awesome.
of him.
Very much not a scab.
Yes.
He's the opposite. He's
Yeah.
a bandage, or whatever the
Bandage,
opposite of
there
a
you go.
scab is.
Those glasses are cracking me up.
I know.
Mohammed, is there a condition in which a human is unable to form scabs, so they just bleed it out?
Oh yeah, totally. What's it called? The thing that a lot of the
Hemophilia?
royals had. What's it? What'd you say?
Hemophilia.
Hemophilia. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what he is. He's the opposite of a scab.
He's a hemophiliac. Oh my god,
He's-
that's
Yeah.
awful.
It
we
doesn't
always
sound like the
hemophilia.
compliment,
But like in
that
a
it
good
is.
way.
Yeah, we'd always
You
step
know?
on him.
Yeah.
It's a herophilia.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
It's where the blood doesn't coagulate, right?
Mhm.
Yep. It's like that Eve of Destruction
fun
song.
word.
Do you remember that?
Oh
I
yeah.
love that song.
Mhm.
Yeah, remember it says my blood runs.
Oh right.
So here's some of the BTS footage right here. This is Frakes directing. He's got 3 monitors in front of him. Pike on one, Una on the other. Looks like Boimler and Spock on the third. He's got his mask on, his glasses on, his headset on, his flannel on. He's
Mhm.
ready for battle.
I love that it has the camera operators' names in the corner, and then the focus.
Oh yeah. That's
Oh
awesome.
wow, I didn't even notice that. That's cool.
That way you
I
can
was just
call
saying
into it.
focus, Alex.
Yeah.
Focus.
Well, that's
Yeah,
who.
but
That's
that's
the assistant camera. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the
Probably.
camera operators on the left.
Yeah. Got Matt,
Matt.
Francois,
The
Yeah.
who
Matt.
is definitely Canadian,
Francois.
and Pete.
And Pete. I want to
No,
know.
it's
Good old
Focus,
Pete from
Craig.
Canada.
Focus, Craig. How about
I don't know
focus
what's
stretch?
going on here. Now he's wearing his
Yeah.
3D glasses, I guess.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I love that. That's awesome.
Oh wait, wait.
And I like the
What's that
headshots
up
in the
here?
background.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Prill, guard number 1. Ah, good old guard number 1. We finally get to see his
Yeah.
headshot.
Yeah. Where's
Hey,
Melissa's headshot?
Yeah.
Why are they all wearing?
So
Oh,
cute.
something's
And-
being welded, I guess.
No, it's
Look at their
remember when they're
arms.
doing the experiment
Yeah.
Right.
that then
right.
explodes? Yeah.
Yeah. What's that
like
behind
their
them there on the
gloves.
ground? Looks like a skull, kind of.
It's a bag.
Yeah.
Oh,
Water
okay.
bottle.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Looked like a skull at first.
Smells like onions.
Oh,
Yeah.
and Blamler's boots. Oh,
Mhm.
so is
Oh,
Connie's
Those are
boots.
awesome. Yeah, love that.
There's
Yeah.
Bill right there.
Mhm.
The
Don't ask
tweeter.
me. Don't ask me. I signed an NDA.
Love that shirt.
that's really funny.
That's Jonathan Frakes special right there.
Yeah.
Mm.
Bill Walkoff owning the bridge. Love it.
Mhm.
Who's
So that's
the
a fun
lady?
one.
That's great.
I want to know who the lady is.
I know, me too.
Oh, that must have been the aforementioned. Let me see. Cat Lynn.
Oh,
Oh,
Last name Stark. Am I right?
exactly.
I bet you she's
Yeah, Game
heard
of
that joke a
Thrones.
million times.
Mhm.
She's like, Cat Lynn, don't. I already heard it. I was just gonna say, I know what you were gonna say. That's
Mhm.
probably what she does every time she meets somebody.
If people hum the tune to her, do 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 do, or as the
Don't
girl
do
who
Reigns of
played
Castamere.
Arya.
I was just gonna say. I was just
Yeah.
gonna say.
Don't do that one to her.
Which one?
Reigns of
Reigns of
Castamere. That's what was
Castamere.
playing when they sliced her throat.
Mm.
Oh,
I haven't gotten that far yet.
Uh-oh. Me.
lies.
Hey, no, here's another one, everybody. Check this out. This is from our good friends over at Trekmovie.com. It's an interview by Lori Ulster, the
Oh.
aforementioned Lori Ulster.
Oh.
Got an interview. It says Walter Koenig on joining Star Trek Shatner's acting. Sorry, there's a lot of commas there. Walter Koenig on joining Star Trek, Shatner's acting, and Chekhov's best scene cut from Generations. Do you know that Walter often sings the praises of Shatner's acting?
Mhm.
Yeah.
He'll often say, "No, I'm not a fan of the man. We're not friends." He always wants to make sure that we know, nothing's changed. But that I feel like that's an even bigger compliment. Is
Definitely.
If you say, "Hey, he's my best friend and I think he's a great actor," okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But if they say, "Hey, I don't even really know the guy," or "I don't really like the guy," or whatever it happens to be, and then they say this guy's acting is amazing, that's when you know it's real.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
In my opinion. So everybody make sure you check out that one. Actually, Muhammad, would you like to read just
I'd be happy to.
a little tidbit of this one to whet everybody's Star Trek appetite?
All right. Remembers warm welcome when he joined season 2 and that wig. When asked when the last time he saw the show was, Koenig admitted he wasn't sure. This is now a quote. "I have absolutely no idea when that was. I've seen a couple of episodes of different iterations of Star Trek, but not the original in a long time." While he may not remember watching the episodes, Koenig keenly remembers what getting the job meant to him when he joined the cast for the second season in 1967. Quote, "My very first thought about being on Star Trek was, I'm getting a weekly salary. You know, humanitarianism, social conscience, all people should be respected, all of those good things which I thoroughly believe in were not foremost on my mind. At that juncture, I was thinking about I was going to have a baby at home, and I did have a wife, and the income was very, as small as it was. I mean, it was a joke, but that was the time. That's the way things were then. But so I was very pleased to have an income." He described what it was like meeting his new castmates. "I was very pleased to have a place to go every week, and everybody was friendly. Almost everybody was friendly. Nichelle was great. She was the first one to come up to me and was friends. And I wore a wig for 6 weeks because my hair was very short. I had made my own film and I had cut my hair short. And so I went to Max Factor and I tried a bunch of wigs and they settled on one.
Yeah, this is great.
So she made a joke about a bird's nest, and that was fun. And then DeForest was great. George wasn't there, as you know. Jimmy was fine. Bill sort of gave me one of those slight nod, but it wasn't insulting. It was an acknowledgement. I'm here. And yeah, it was fine. And as time progressed and I got to see what we were doing and what we were saying and how we were dealing with the audience, how we were treating them, it felt good. I felt that I was part of something reasonably important.
He has the reasonably in there. You know, nothing too crazy.
Oh my God.
So that's pretty cool. Obviously, everybody, look, that's a great segue. That Walter Koenig, the reason for this interview is that he has joined the Seventh Rule podcast.
Yay.
And he will be reviewing Star Trek for the very first time. He said since its inception, you know, in the original run, he watched some of the episodes in the late 60s because he was in it. But everybody, boy, you have got to check this out. Go to Indiegogo.com and just type in the Seventh Rule, and you too can be a part of this glorious Indiegogo campaign. It's a quickie. It was like a 22-day campaign. There are 14 days left. So get on that if you want any part of Walter Koenig's creamy goodness, because he will be doing history right before it's like the history of the future, right? It's like some kind of, it feels really important, reasonably important.
He's coming to some of the round tables, if I remember correctly, right? So like, you know, for a fairly low cost, you could actually like come on and chat with him. You know, that's pretty amazing.
And if you know somebody who is an avid TOS fan, Christmas is coming up. So is Hanukkah. So are more holidays.
Melissa's birthday's coming up.
Those Mohammeds.
True too. Yeah, we're very close since we're twins.
Such a special time of year.
Those roundtables really are a lot of fun.
Yeah, totally. Lost the next link.
Yeah, that's a problem.
We could do audio drama.
Don't leave us in such suspense.
Dun, dun, dun. And this is my feet walking.
Finish the sentence. And Pike was cooking. Go, Melissa.
And Pike was cooking with his apron on, and he was making pasta with eggs.
Oh, go Jenny!
And they were much better than the eggs made by Commander Will Riker on the Enterprise D in the future, even though this was the past.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Are we in some kind of time loop?
Time loop.
And then there was a time travel event that happened, and he got to actually meet Will Riker himself, and they compared their egg recipes. Melissa, do you? Right, like what is happening?
And then Boimler pops in because he got sucked into that time thinking again. And he said, "I'll show you some different kind of eggs. Here, try these."
Need more time, Ryan?
Yeah, it looks like something got lost. That's a bummer.
All right, to you, Jenny.
Boimler eggs?
Boimler eggs.
Yeah.
Riker said Boimler eggs. What kind of eggs are Boimler eggs? Mohammed?
Boimler eggs come from a very special kind of animal, which is not yet evolved, but will evolve in that century.
Ooh.
But it's kind of bird-like, but not related to Miglimo.
I'm sorry that I've done this to all of us because I don't know what's happening here, but this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and announce the next group of Lappy Award categories that's going to open up on Friday.
Well, heck.
So everybody, starting on Friday, right after Star Trek and Chill, we will be opening up the voting on these. And yeah, let's just read these out. This will be fun. So the first one is, you bought them enough time. Which was the funniest episode of Lower Decks season 4?
Ooh.
That's it. It's an easy one. There are 10
choices.
episodes. Which is the funniest? Not necessarily the best
Mhm.
or the coolest, but the funniest specifically.
Or
Then
next
we-
rewatch.
We also have, and then we've got the group of the yearly categories, the ones that we do every year for the new stuff. And here they come. Best new episode of 2023.
Ooh,
That's
wow.
everything. That's everything that came out in 2023, including the very short treks.
Oh, really? Clean
Which
this?
clearly will clean up
Yeah, that's
in
going
this
to be,
category.
that is going to be domination.
Mhm.
Especially that booger one.
Definitely.
Then we also have, here's a fun one. Most interesting new character. So this is a character that was introduced in 2023. Not just a character that's new to their series. Like, for example, Ro in Picard season 3 is not a new character.
Mhm.
That is a
But-
character that is returning in a new series. So, for
Pelia
example,
is.
exactly,
Mm.
Pelia, Shaw, the two LaForge girls,
Mhm.
Esmar, the
Yeah.
ensign, Vadek.
Mhm.
You've got Kevin. That's Peanut Hamper's dad.
Ah,
T'Pring's parents. You've got Tendy's sister, De'Erica. Sneed, the Ferengi. So all of these are brand new
Good
characters. Then another one is the best antagonist of 2023. So
Oh,
that could be
yeah.
anybody, just any antagonist from 2023.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Some stiff competition there.
We also have
Mhm.
biggest wow moment. Now this
is
one
fun.
this one's interesting because biggest wow moment could be the coolest ship battle. It could be a legacy person showing up. It could be a death. It's just whatever made you say,
Wow.
that's right.
Ethan Peck's singing voice.
That's a wow.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Wow, mom. Okay. Feel free to use that, Mohammed.
I feel like we're back in the 90s.
Then we also have, there are two more. Funniest moment in 2023.
Mm.
Any show, funniest moment.
Oh, I know mine.
Tell
Mm.
us.
Worf sleeping.
That was so
That was a
good.
very good one.
Yes.
That's a very good choice.
It's so funny. I'll never get over it.
Yeah.
And then the memes that followed.
Oh my God.
Yes. You know you've made it when you create something that births many memes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Have you ever made
like,
it or
wasn't,
done something horrible? One or the other.
Yes. Yes.
wasn't there one where he was like sitting like Bernie Sanders with his
Yes.
mittens?
Yes.
Yeah, that was so good.
It's so good.
So the last one is most exciting moment in 2023, which is a little different than wow moment, because wow could be good, could be bad, could be sad, could be anything.
Mhm.
Most exciting moment is just the one that got your heart pumping. It could be a fight scene. It could be seeing the Enterprise for the first time. It's just whatever made you the most excited.
Mm-hmm.
That's all of them.
Like Troy taking over the ship controls to save Riker and everyone.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Oh, it was so
That
good.
was pretty
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, that was insane. Yeah.
You mentioned Nick Locarno, that he could be best
Yeah.
antagonist.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Same with
Totally covered.
Vatic.
Or wow.
Yeah.
Or wow. Yeah.
Mhm.
I definitely said
Wow,
wow.
Mom.
Yeah.
I guess the arc-based ones would have a slight advantage there. Because like Nick Locarno was part of an arc, Vatic was part of an arc. When he
True.
used Strange New Worlds, there was no like arc villain. It was like
Mm.
you'd see them once and then
Yeah.
they're gone.
But that was a different one.
Mm.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the Gorn are pretty scary.
They're pretty scary.
Yeah. They are.
I'm sorry, I
definitely.
believe they're pronounced the Gorn.
The Gorn are very scary.
So that's what we got there, everybody. Those will go up for voting on Friday during Star Trek and Chill. And we need all of you to get up in those because these are great. It's really a great way to celebrate new Star Trek. And if you haven't seen all of the new Star Trek episodes, you got to get on that quickly. You have till Friday so that you can give a fair assessment. When it says most exciting moment, if you've only seen Strange New Worlds, then the other guys don't get a chance. And that's messed up.
Well, and there's only 10 episodes of each, so
Exactly.
an excuse to watch them again. Woohoo, woohoo.
Just a little bit more than 4 episodes a day if you do it for over the course of a week.
All right.
Well,
So let's get into this week, everybody, very quickly. Yesterday on the 7th Rule YouTube channel, we released our full review of Q Who, Next Generation episode Q Who. The Borg are introduced for the first time ever. We have Dan Curry as our guest. It's a great time. Check it out. Whole thing's available right now on the 7th Rule YouTube channel. Then, Falling Tower. Tomorrow, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, go to the Falling Tower YouTube channel. We are doing 80s sitcom month, and we're having the time of our lives, aren't we, Mohammed?
Oh, yeah. It's been a blast, actually. I have enjoyed it quite a bit.
I want it to be 80s sitcom year, but
that could be fun.
Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on the Falling Tower YouTube channel, we have Alf. Good old Alf with meteorologist Katie Nicolau joining us. What a deal. So it's a great
Weather
time.
Katie.
Then on Friday, come right back here to this channel because, as you know, Star Trek and Chill at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Live, we will be opening up the polls. We'll be talking about Star Trek. We'll be chilling. It's going to be a great time. You do not want to miss that. And then lastly, on Sunday, this coming Sunday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, we have Star Trek The Next Generation first segment review of Peak Performance. Peak Performance, or as everybody calls it, just the episode that you skip to get to Shades of Grey. Just Peak Performance.
Can we add one other event? Is it by a friend of the show?
Oh, please.
Yeah, so tomorrow night, after you finish watching Watch the First, because remember, that's going to be from 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, you can hop on over to Larry Nemechek's Trekland for his big Portal 47 open house that starts at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. for you Pacific folks. So check that out. Larry Nemechek's Trekland.
Awesome.
We do love us some Larry.
11
All
p.m.
right.
Atlantic Time.
Very late, but I might do it anyway.
Very Larry. Jenny R., where can people find you on time, late or otherwise?
Pretty well all the time. You can find me at my website, jennyrjohnson.com, where you can also get to my store where I sell prints of all my work. And it's Christmas time, so you should probably buy some. Also, you can find me on many social media platforms, such as Twitter, or whatever it's called now, under Jenny R. Johnson. But everywhere else, you can find me at Jenny R. Johnson Art.
Pretty good. What about you, Melissa Longo? Your thoughts?
My thoughts. This podcast was no.
Oh my gosh.
Back to Batman.
Expectations. No, you can find me at Melissa Longo, Malissa, on social media. And the introvertedrepublic.com at Walking Art Made by Melissa and Walking Art Made by Melissa on Patreon. There is a story going on slowly but surely, but it's going. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work, by the way. What about you, Dr. Noor, BioTrekkie?
No, I'm at MAF like Frank Noor and like November OOR on any of the socials you pick. And on YouTube as BioTrekkie, BIOTREKKIE. Thank you.
Everybody, you can find me on Twitter at RyanTGHusk. That's at RyanTGHusk, or just follow whatever we do at Virtual TrekCon, at Falling Tower, at The Seventh Rule, wherever social medias are found, but especially on YouTube. And remember to check us out as an audio podcast. Make sure to subscribe to that, give us a 5-star rating, and check us out. Sometimes you don't have Wi-Fi. You're in an airplane or a bus or under a rock or something, and you just want to download a podcast and listen to it and everything. That's cool. Scuba diving. Can you listen to a podcast while you're scuba diving?
Potentially.
You should.
With the right gear.
Maybe.
That sounds super safe, but I mean,
Yeah.
All right. So that's it for us. Thank you very much to Lucia out in Brazil, Greg, Kenzo, Allison, Leech Hyde, who says, get all of Jenny's prints. They are wonderful. Nice. Also, thank you to Linda Anderegg, John Davis, Robert Kaiser out in Austria, Chuck A., Glenn Iverson as well. We see all of you, Kathy D, Dave Gregory. Dave Gregory's awesome. Everybody donate to his Movember thing. Dave, can you put it in the link in the description box, or sorry, in the live chat, so people can click on it?
It won't show up in the because remember, you have to be
then we'll copy it and put it into the comments
so
people can do that. Thank you. And or actually, a great way to do it, Dave Gregory, is once this thing is over, click refresh and then put it in the comments. Everybody else at home, hit refresh and leave your comments on your thoughts and everything that's going on in 2024. Which Star Trek show are you most looking forward to? I know.
Hard to pick.
Tough one.
Prodigy, Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks, Discovery, the Section 31 movie, Starfleet Academy,
Lappy Awards.
Lappy Awards.
This year in universe. Yes.
And War Dogheim's got a Movember thing going on too, so be sure to jump on his as well. So thank you to everybody in the live chat. We appreciate all of y'all, and that's it for us. So when you guys want to see Trekmovie showing up and telling us a bunch of cool stories, put it on the main viewer.